You sneeze out of nowhere, and you think it's just dust. But what if your sneeze is your spirit's way of telling you it's clearing something from your energy field? Picture this. You're sitting quietly in the stillness of your favorite meditation spot, maybe a cozy corner by the window or a cushioned nook surrounded by candles. The air feels calm, almost sacred, as you focus on your breath. Inhale, exhale. Everything seems to be flowing perfectly. And then, suddenly, achoo! A sneeze erupts like an unexpected clap of thunder, jolting you out of that peaceful moment. You blink, startled, wondering what just happened. Was it really just dust, or was there something more at play? Sneezing has this curious way of interrupting our lives with startling clarity. It's not just physical, there's often an emotional ripple too. Think about how it feels when you sneeze unexpectedly. Your chest tightens for a split second, your body tenses, and then comes the explosive release. There's something cathartic about it, almost like a reset button being pressed within you. Have you ever noticed how after a good sneeze, the world seems just a little bit brighter, even if only for a fleeting moment? That sensation might hold deeper meaning than we realize. For centuries, across cultures and spiritual traditions, sneezing has been seen as far more than a simple biological response. Imagine ancient sages pausing mid-prayer because someone nearby let out a sneeze, interpreting it as a sign from the divine. Or consider modern seekers who experience sneezes during moments of deep introspection and wonder whether their bodies are trying to communicate something profound. What if those sneezes aren't random but purposeful nudges from your spirit, urging you to pay attention to subtle shifts happening beneath the surface? This idea opens up fascinating possibilities. One sneeze could be whispering messages about energy blockages, emotional releases, or even intuitive warnings waiting to be understood. So next time you find yourself caught off guard by a sneeze, don't dismiss it so quickly. Instead, lean into the curiosity it sparks. Because hidden inside that seemingly ordinary reflex might lie extraordinary insights about your inner self. Now, before we dive deeper into the mystical side of sneezing, let's take a step back and explore the science behind it. Sneezing is fundamentally a protective reflex designed to clear irritants from your nasal passages. When something, whether it's dust, pollen, or even a sudden change in temperature, tickles the sensitive lining of your nose, specialized nerve endings send a signal to your brainstem via the trigeminal nerve. This triggers a cascade of responses throughout your body. Your eyes close involuntarily, your throat tightens, and your diaphragm contracts powerfully, forcing air explosively out of your lungs. It's a remarkably efficient system, one that has evolved over millennia to keep us safe from harmful particles. But sneezing isn't always triggered by external irritants. Some people experience what's known as the photic sneeze reflex, where exposure to bright light, like stepping outside on a sunny day, causes them to sneeze repeatedly. This phenomenon, also called the AQ syndrome, yes, really, highlights how interconnected our sensory systems are. Bright light stimulates the optic nerve, which can sometimes crosstalk with the trigeminal nerve, confusing the brain into thinking there's an irritant present. Similarly, strong emotions or intense focus can occasionally trigger sneezes, suggesting that our nervous system plays a role beyond mere physical stimuli. Interestingly, sneezing activates parts of the autonomic nervous system, including the vagus nerve, which governs many of the body's automatic functions like heart rate, digestion, and breathing. When you sneeze, this nerve briefly ramps up activity, creating that familiar rush of energy coursing through your body. It's why sneezing often leaves you feeling momentarily invigorated, as though you've released pent-up tension. Scientists have noted that sneezes can temporarily elevate heart rate and blood pressure, providing a quick burst of vitality. While these effects are short-lived, they hint at sneezing's potential to influence not only physical health, but also energetic states. And yet, despite all these intricate mechanisms, science doesn't fully explain every aspect of sneezing. Why do some people sneeze multiple times in succession while others rarely sneeze at all? Why does sneezing feel different depending on the context? Sometimes cleansing, other times disruptive. These unanswered questions leave room for exploration beyond the purely physiological. After all, human experiences aren't confined to biology alone. Our bodies are vessels for emotions, thoughts, and energies that defy easy categorization. So, while understanding the mechanics of sneezing gives us valuable insight, it doesn't necessarily tell the whole story. But what if there's more to these sudden sneezes? What if they're not just random firings of nerves or reactions to environmental factors? Could they be signals from a deeper part of ourselves, messages encoded in our very physiology? Let's pause here for a moment to reflect on how interconnected our physical and energetic selves truly are. By the way, if you feel these subtle shifts in your energy while watching, I've created a free ebook for you called The Magic of Affirmations to help you align your energy with your intentions each day. You'll find the link in the description below. Now, back to uncovering the layers of meaning behind this universal reflex. Throughout history, sneezing has sparked intrigue and reverence, transcending its biological function to become a symbol rich with spiritual significance. Ancient civilizations believed that sneezing was no ordinary act. It represented a moment when the soul briefly left the body and then returned, carrying fresh energy or renewed purpose. This belief gave rise to customs such as saying, "bless you," after someone sneezed, originally intended as a protective gesture against malevolent forces seeking to claim the departing soul. Even today, the phrase lingers in our collective consciousness, though most of us say it without fully grasping its origins. In many spiritual traditions, sneezing is regarded as an energetic purge, a natural mechanism for releasing stagnant energy or emotional blocks that have accumulated within us. Consider someone deep in meditation, working to dissolve layers of stress or suppressed feelings. A sudden sneeze during this practice might signify that their body is expelling old patterns, making space for new growth. It's akin to shaking loose debris from a clogged pipe. The sneeze becomes a conduit for clearing pathways not just physically, but energetically as well. This perspective aligns beautifully with Eastern philosophies like Ayurveda, which views sneezing during chakra work as evidence of prana, or life force, moving through the system. Each sneeze could represent trapped energy finally finding release, allowing the individual to move closer to balance and harmony. Some mystics go further, suggesting that sneezing may serve as confirmation from the universe itself. For instance, imagine someone wrestling with a decision, unsure of which path to take. They sit in quiet contemplation, weighing pros and cons, until, out of nowhere, they sneeze. To the spiritually attuned, this sneeze might feel less like a coincidence and more like affirmation, a gentle nudge from the cosmos signaling alignment with a particular choice. Others interpret sneezing during prayer or ritual as a sign of heightened connection, as though the divine is acknowledging their efforts and offering encouragement. These interpretations remind us that sneezing can carry weight far beyond its physical manifestation, acting as a bridge between the mundane and the metaphysical. Even in modern contexts, sneezing continues to evoke wonder among those attuned to subtler dimensions of existence. People engaged in practices like breathwork or energy healing often report experiencing sneezes accompanied by waves of emotion, joy, relief, grief, or clarity, as if their bodies are processing long-held burdens. One woman shared her experience of breaking down in tears after a particularly intense sneeze during a guided session, realizing she had unconsciously held on to guilt related to a past relationship. Another recounted how a sneeze seemed to him to punctuate a breakthrough during journaling, leaving him feeling lighter and more grounded afterward. Such stories underscore the idea that sneezing can act as both catalyst and messenger, helping individuals navigate their inner landscapes with greater awareness. Ultimately, the spiritual interpretation of sneezing invites us to view this reflexive act not as an interruption, but as an opportunity, an invitation to tune into what lies beneath the surface. Whether seen as a form of purification, communication from higher realms, or simply a reminder of our interconnectedness, sneezing holds untapped potential for those willing to listen closely. As we continue exploring this phenomenon, let's remain open to the whispers of wisdom carried within each unexpected sneeze. Cultural lore around sneezing offers a colorful tapestry of beliefs, each woven with threads of superstition, symbolism, and shared human experience. Take Chinese culture, for example, where sneezing carries intriguing implications tied to interpersonal connections. If you sneeze unexpectedly, tradition suggests that someone somewhere is talking about you, and depending on the timing, their words may be positive or negative. A single sneeze might indicate praise, while repeated sneezes could imply gossip or criticism. This belief reflects a deep-seated awareness of relational energy, reminding us how interconnected we are even when miles apart. In Middle Eastern and European folklore, sneezing during important conversations takes on a different hue altogether. Here, it's often viewed as a sign of truth, a spontaneous validation of sincerity. Imagine two friends locked in debate, uncertain of where honesty ends and persuasion begins. Then, one sneezes, a momentary pause followed by laughter or relief, as though the sneeze itself confirms what cannot be denied. This notion echoes across centuries, reinforcing the idea that sneezing holds an inherent authenticity, cutting through pretense to reveal what truly matters. Native and folk traditions bring yet another layer of meaning, framing sneezing as a form of spirit confirmation or warning. Among certain indigenous communities, a sneeze might be interpreted as an ancestral message, urging caution or signaling approval. Elders recount tales of hunters who sneezed before embarking on treacherous journeys, interpreting the sneeze as either a blessing to proceed or a warning to reconsider. Similarly, in rural European villages, sneezing during pivotal moments like weddings or harvest festivals was once seen as a harbinger of fortune or misfortune. Villagers would watch intently, reading the sneeze as a cosmic omen guiding their collective fate. These stories highlight humanity's enduring fascination with sneezing as a threshold event, a moment when the veil between worlds grows thin enough to glimpse something greater. Such diverse interpretations reveal how deeply sneezing resonates across cultures, bridging scientific explanation with metaphysical mystery. Even today, remnants of these beliefs linger subtly in daily life. Ever notice how some people instinctively reach for tissues while muttering a quick blessing under their breath? Or how others pause mid-conversation, amusedly remarking, "I guess that means yes," after sneezing? These small acts connect us to age-old wisdom, keeping alive the notion that sneezing isn't merely mechanical but meaningful. Whether viewed as a signal from unseen forces, a reflection of social dynamics, or a spiritual checkpoint, sneezing remains a universal touchstone linking past and present, science and soul. Let me share a couple of real-life stories that illustrate just how transformative sneezing can be when we pay attention to its subtle cues. First, there's Emma, a yoga instructor who stumbled upon an unexpected revelation during a breathwork session. She had been practicing regularly for months, using conscious breathing techniques to manage anxiety and reconnect with her body. One evening, during a particularly intense round of circular breathing, she felt a wave of heat surge through her chest. Her instructor encouraged her to stay with the sensation, to breathe into it rather than resist. Suddenly, without warning, she sneezed, a loud, uncontrollable burst that startled everyone in the room, including herself. But instead of embarrassment, Emma felt an overwhelming sense of release. Tears streamed down her face as memories surfaced of a painful breakup she thought she'd moved past. The sneeze seemed to unlock something buried deep within her, allowing her to process emotions she hadn't fully acknowledged. Afterward, she described feeling lighter, freer, as though years of emotional weight had lifted in an instant. That sneeze became a turning point, teaching her to trust the body's innate ability to heal and clear what no longer serves. Then there's Marcus, whose story unfolded quite differently, but no less profoundly. He was standing at a crossroads in his career, torn between accepting a lucrative corporate job offer and pursuing his lifelong dream of opening a community art studio. Weeks of deliberation left him paralyzed with indecision, unable to commit either way. One morning, while meditating on his decision, he found himself sneezing repeatedly, 5 times in quick succession. At first, he dismissed it as allergies flaring up, but the timing felt too coincidental. Later that day, he decided to research sneezing in spiritual contexts, discovering interpretations that resonated deeply with his situation. Each sneeze, he reasoned, might represent shedding doubt or fear, clearing space for clarity. Taking this as a sign, Marcus chose to follow his passion, pouring his savings into launching the art studio. Within months, his venture flourished beyond expectations, drawing support from friends, family, and strangers alike. Looking back, he credits those sneezes with helping him break free from hesitation and embrace bold action. Stories like Emma's and Marcus's remind us that sneezing isn't always random noise disrupting our routines. It can be a powerful ally guiding us toward growth and transformation. Their experiences highlight the importance of staying present and curious whenever a sneeze catches us off guard. Rather than brushing it aside as irrelevant, we might ask ourselves, what am I releasing right now? What message is my body trying to convey? These moments of pause invite us to dig deeper, connecting dots we might otherwise overlook. Whether it manifests as emotional clarity, intuitive guidance, or even serendipitous blessings, sneezing has the potential to illuminate paths forward when we least expect it. So, how can you begin to engage with your sneezes in a more mindful way? Next time you find yourself caught off guard by an unexpected sneeze, try this simple yet profound protocol. Pause, place a hand over your heart, and silently ask yourself, what am I clearing right now? This brief moment of reflection creates space to tune into the subtle energies at play, inviting insight rather than dismissal. You might discover that the sneeze coincided with a specific thought, memory, or emotion bubbling beneath the surface. For instance, were you ruminating on a stressful situation when it happened? Were you contemplating a decision or mulling over unresolved feelings? By noticing these patterns, you give yourself permission to explore the layers of meaning hidden within seemingly ordinary moments. If the sneeze occurs during meditation, prayer, or another intentional practice, take note of where you were in your mental or emotional state. Did it happen while focusing on gratitude, forgiveness, or visualization? Perhaps it marked a shift in energy, signaling progress in releasing old patterns or embracing new possibilities. Journaling these observations can be incredibly helpful, allowing you to track recurring themes over time. Over weeks or months, you might notice correlations between sneezes in specific areas of your life, relationships, work, health, that warrant further exploration. Writing them down transforms fleeting sensations into tangible insights, empowering you to make connections you might otherwise miss. Another powerful approach involves leaning into curiosity rather than judgment. Instead of labeling the sneeze as inconvenient or meaningless, treat it as a doorway to deeper understanding. Ask yourself questions like, what does my body need right now? Am I holding on to something I'm ready to let go of? How does this sneeze align with what I've been experiencing lately? These inquiries foster a dialogue between mind, body, and spirit, encouraging holistic awareness. Remember, sneezing isn't inherently good or bad. It's neutral until we assign meaning to it. By approaching it with openness and non-attachment, you allow its message to unfold naturally, without forcing interpretation. For those drawn to energy work or chakra balancing, consider integrating sneezes into your practice as indicators of energetic flow. If you are working on clearing blockages in your throat chakra, for example, a sneeze could signify movement or release in that area. Pay attention to any accompanying sensations, warmth, tingling, or lightness, as they provide additional clues about what's shifting internally. Visualize the sneeze as a gust of wind sweeping away cobwebs, leaving behind clarity and renewal. This imagery reinforces the idea that sneezing serves a purpose beyond mere biology, acting as a tool for cleansing and recalibration. Finally, don't hesitate to experiment with affirmations or mantras immediately following a sneeze. Statements like, "I release what no longer serves me," or "I welcome fresh energy into my being," amplify the sneeze's purifying effect, anchoring intention in the physical act. Repeating these phrases aloud or silently helps solidify the connection between body and spirit, grounding abstract concepts in concrete action. Over time, this practice cultivates a heightened sensitivity to your own energetic rhythms, enabling you to recognize sneezes not as interruptions but as invitations to align more deeply with your true self. When we look at sneezing through the lens of the mirror principle, the idea that external events often reflect internal states, we uncover another layer of its significance. Sneezing can act as a metaphorical mirror, reflecting subconscious emotional clearings, fears, or readiness for change. Just as water ripples outward when disturbed, sneezing sends waves through our energy fields, revealing what lies beneath the surface. It's not uncommon for people to experience sneezes during periods of transition or upheaval, whether personal or professional. This timing suggests that sneezing may serve as a physical manifestation of inner turbulence, helping us process emotions we haven't fully confronted. Consider someone navigating a major life shift, such as ending a toxic relationship or leaving a stifling job. During these transitions, sneezing might occur more frequently, almost as if the body is assisting in shedding old energies tied to outdated circumstances. Each sneeze could symbolize letting go of lingering attachments, doubts, or anxieties, paving the way for new beginnings. Similarly, individuals grappling with deep-seated fears, perhaps around failure, rejection, or vulnerability, might find themselves sneezing during moments of confrontation with those fears. In this context, the sneeze becomes an ally, supporting the purging of what holds them back and creating space for courage and resilience to emerge. This mirroring effect extends beyond individual experiences to broader themes of transformation and renewal. Sneezing often accompanies spiritual awakening or heightened self-awareness, acting as a catalyst for energetic shifts. Those who embark on practices like meditation, breathwork, or energy healing sometimes report increased sneezing as their bodies adapt to elevated vibrational frequencies. This phenomenon underscores the interconnectedness of mind, body, and spirit, reminding us that sneezing isn't isolated to one dimension of existence, but operates holistically across all levels. By recognizing sneezes as reflections of our inner landscapes, we gain valuable tools for navigating growth and evolution with greater grace and intention. As we wrap up this exploration of sneezing as both a physical reflex and a spiritual signal, let's remember that sneezes are far more than interruptions. They're invitations. They invite us to pause, to listen, and to reflect on the subtle ways our bodies communicate with us. Each sneeze carries the potential to clear space for new energy, whether it's releasing old patterns, affirming truths, or preparing us for change. So the next time you sneeze unexpectedly, see it not as an inconvenience, but as a moment of alignment, a chance to connect with your deeper self and the unseen forces guiding your journey. If you've ever sneezed during a spiritual moment or felt something shift after a sneeze, I'd love to hear about it. Share your experience in the comments below. Your story could inspire someone else on their path. And if you're looking to deepen your daily spiritual alignment, I invite you to download my free ebook, The Magic of Affirmations. Packed with practical tools and insights, it's designed to help you harness the power of positive language to transform your energy and intentions. You'll find the link in the description below. Lastly, don't forget to check out my next video, where we'll dive into another fascinating aspect of how our bodies speak to us through signs and signals. Until then, stay curious, stay open, and trust the wisdom unfolding within you.